Hello everybody, my name is Wajiro Morethi of WINENJIRU Exclusives, and I'm so excited to be recording this episode of Conversations with WINENJIRU at a location not that we're used to. We are in the wine and cheese shop at the Golden Tulip Hotel in Oyster Bay, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And we're not even with a Tanzanian person, right? We have our American friend. Are you Liberian or American?
Liberian.
Okay, yeah. Liberian.
By way of America.
By way of America. Mccleod Kolleh, here with us for this episode. It's quite special. We tried to do this in Nairobi and it wasn't possible. But somehow we were able to synchronize and be here in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And what a great way to start 2023 with this episode. Welcome, and I'm so happy you were able to make it. I'm so honored to have hosted your team in Nairobi. And I'm jealous because you were in Zanzibar when I was busy working.
Don't be.
But you'll tell me all about it.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm honored to be here. And I'm honored that you even extended out the invite for me to be here. So I'm excited.
Okay, super. Yeah. So I received a message on Instagram sometime in August, I think it was.
Yeah.
Was it August or whatever?
July, August-ish.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know how Americans write the date with the month? It's the month first or the date first. So
it took me first.
Yeah.
The month first.
The month first and the date. So it was like 08 whatever. So she's asking about an event that's happening within 6 months. They're coming to Nairobi, and I checked the date when I finally get the format, and it's gonna be on my birthday, right?
Lucky you and lucky us.
Lucky us, for sure. But I mean, wow. So we got talking and we organized a Zoom call and all that. But I was quite curious to find out how she had gotten to know about me at all, even to be able to write. I know I have an American audience.
You're well known.
I know I'm well known and all that, but then it was really interesting. So it turns out someone I don't even know had made the reference.
Yeah. So it turns out a colleague of mine that I work with here, there in Nairobi, when I told her what I was looking for my group, she says, "Oh, I know the perfect wine person for you." And her name is WINENJIRU, and this is her Instagram. So I went on your Instagram, I looked you up, I said, "Oh, okay, she seems official." I said, "Let me send her a message," and I sent you the message, and you were so welcome, and you agreed. And we hopped on the Zoom call, and it was just history from there.
I know, yeah. And I mean, it was just perfect. As it turns out, I was scheduled for a trip to DC and Tennessee. Well, I thought I was going to California, but not quite yet. And then you drove 3 hours to come meet with me. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that was nothing, because I just felt like, you were so welcoming from the Zoom call. You were excited. You were even giving ideas like, "Oh, we could do it here, we could do it there." So that was the least I could do, rather than waiting to get to Nairobi to meet you in person for the first time. I just felt like it was just important to meet prior to get that connection, to match the energies. And when we met, it felt like we had known each other forever.
Forever, no, true.
We went to lunch, we chatted, we talked, and it was just, just history. And I think that transcended into the actual experience, making it even perfect, so yeah.
Yeah. So what seemed like a very long time soon was on our door, and within a week you came and we had the dinner with at House of Wayne in Karen with Chef Alan Murungi of...
A private dinner curated just for us. So it's not just any dinner. So don't call her up asking for this dinner because you might not get it. Yeah, but it was amazing.
It was amazing. Yeah. And I mean, it was super. They then surprised me with a birthday cake. That was also special, and I'm so thankful for that. And you can thank the whole group for that.
Yeah.
But what brings a Liberian by way of America to Kenya and Tanzania in the first place? What is this about? What was the story behind this trip?
So the story behind the trip, I own a travel company, Travel with Mac, and the focus is based on African experiences, so highlighting the African continent in a positive way, just letting the diaspora know that Africa is just not this place that, all the things we see in the media, especially in the West. You could get luxury, you could get anything you want in Africa, and you could probably get more because your money goes a long way on the continent than it would go in the West. So my company is just based on showcasing that rich side of the continent, so anything luxury, anything, uppity, we love, because my clients are of a certain class, they're accustomed to certain things, So Nairobi was actually our first East African destination. Usually we're in Ghana, we're in Senegal and other destinations. So Nairobi was the first time. And it just so happened that one of the members was celebrating her 40th.
Nice.
So that was a big deal. So in my mind, it's anything huge, anything grand, anything to show beautiful Africa, so that's why we ended up in Nairobi. And what a better person to host us for our first welcome dinner than you. And then, the Chef Allen connection, just amazing. The guests are still talking about it to this day.
Okay.
So you've actually spoiled them. Now they're holding me up to the standard. I can't give them anything less than that experience. But also for you taking the time on your birthday to say, you know what, it's my birthday, but I'm still going to host you guys. So that was special to us. So we wanted to do something. So we surprised you. You had no idea.
I had no idea.
You had no idea, and I loved it.
I saw the cake, and it wasn't surprising because someone was going to be celebrating their birthday. And I will work on any day for money. If I'm pregnant and I'm supposed to give birth in the day and some work comes, I'll be working and telling the baby, hold on. Hold on, don't come yet. Anyway, but really, really special. I thank you. I can't remember the last time I had a birthday cake. In that sort of big way. But great, it's funny. A lot of Africans are trying to get out of Africa into countries like America, into Europe. Here you are trying to get everybody to visit us and have these luxurious experiences. Yes. So isn't that a paradox that we're trying to get out? You've been out and you're trying to get back in?
Yeah, in a way, there's this thing where you don't really appreciate what you're used to or what's in your backyard until you go somewhere else. So I think a lot of the Africans, it's in a sense, it can be good for the opportunities to, make more capital and things like that. But just the overall living style, peace of mind, health-wise, having lived in the West for so long, it's really better here on the continent, especially if you have some money.
Yeah.
So, I'm all for making money, but, I'm also for very much coming back, investing, and making Africa home. We could go on vacation, but we have to come back, cultivate what we want our continent to be here. So now it's like a huge switch because a lot of us there want to come back. We're tired of the non-stop working hours, the stress and all of that stuff. We just want to be in sun, some vitamin D, be catered to, So I'm all for coming back. Going for specific reasons, but don't forget where you're from and definitely come back.
Come back, yeah. So how long has Travel with Mac been operational, and were you always in the tourism industry?
The company has been since 2019. So right before COVID, I started and COVID hit. And then I was like, but I didn't panic because I knew at some point it was going to come back. But I think that was just it just made things more clear during COVID where the better option of living was going to be. So during COVID, I packed up my kids and we moved to Ghana. We were there for almost 11 months. And I was just like, you know what? This is where I want to be. I'm in the right business. So even though things are shaky right now, things are going to pick back up. But before then, I was just traveling. So I would just travel to different places. I would have friends would see my pictures on Instagram, like, oh, I want to come. Where'd you go? How did you do that? How did you do that? I'm like, okay, well, how about we do this? How about I do everything for you, write the check, and just show up and have a good time? And even the people that would come with me just on like these regular trips will have such a great time. Because a lot of the experiences are things that I like too. I like things of a certain, so it just made sense. It just made sense. So since 2019, we had Ghana. When I was in Ghana, I had a few people come visit. They loved it. The feedback was great. So it just propelled me on. So since Nairobi and that welcome dinner, my inbox, my email, everything is like blowing out. They're like, I want that specific trip. So I'm excited.
Okay. It's really, I haven't been to Liberia. Maybe through you, I'll get to go there as well.
At some point.
Yeah.
No rush. No rush. Take your time.
Why? It's all about the experiences, isn't it?
Yeah.
And maybe we're different. I like good things. Look at this spread here, the wine and cheese shop, right?
Lovely.
This is all lovely and it's great. But then I think just the experience of going somewhere new and learning a new culture And since you've hit Kenyan food so hard, maybe I need a dose of Liberian spice to spice up my life.
If you come to, I mean, Liberia, we still have a lot of work to do, but the food is amazing.
Okay.
On the record, we're the best cooks in Africa.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah.
We cook really well, so you're not going to have any problems with the food if you're in Liberia. That's not going to be your worries.
Okay.
Other things, but definitely not the food. We're just used to spicy, rich things. Even in our local dishes, you can find 3 or 4 proteins in it.
Okay.
You're never going to find a dish with just one protein.
With just one protein, yeah.
So we're flavorful in that sense.
Okay.
So, all of that ties into my experiences as I curate them. We want you to feel the flavor.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but you're welcome to come to Liberia one day. Take your time, dog, but when you get there.
Feel the flavor, and I'll post when I finally get into Liberia doing an experience as well.
Yes.
Okay, so what were you doing before? Like, were you always in travel? But because because I like to travel, I can totally, relate to you. I've hosted people from everywhere. Like, I think my most recent trip, visit was from some Canadians who lived in Kenya more than 20 years ago and were coming back for the first time. But they only had 2 weeks. So it was quite crazy in terms of what we could plan. Yeah. Of course, we knew we had to do beach and bush. But of course, do the local thing. And one of them was a marathon runner. The marathon was taking place at that time. Oh, that was natural. Which reminds me, we didn't get to do our run together.
I know.
So we need to.
We thought about it this morning.
We need to plan for that as well. But the thing is, sometimes what you like is not what people like.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be planning the run, and someone else will be like, oh, sleep in, or, drink and party until early ways of the morning. But now I'm also hosting a friend from South Africa, and it's again a very different experience because all he wants to do is cycle. And yes, I cycle too, but I'm like, this is getting to a whole different level as well. So it's great that we can pass on the passion that we have to like-minded people, and maybe that's why it was so natural for us to be able to get this going and to develop something for the future.
Yeah, it was easy.
Yes, it was pretty easy.
Yeah.
So tell us what you did in Kenya. Other than the chef Island dinner that will feature a lot.
Where do I start? Kenya was just magical. I really didn't, just doing research, connected. Well, I would say doing business in Kenya from overseas was smooth for the most part, as far as the people I was working with, communication back and forth. It just seemed a lot seamless compared to other countries I do business in.
Really? Great.
Yeah, so from the very beginning, there was this sense of professionalism that was exhibited, and I knew that, okay, I'm in good hands. I was at ease. But I really was expecting Kenya to be hot.
Okay.
And I got here, I'm like, I need a jacket. But I love the weather. I appreciate the sunshine, but still breezy. And then you get the coolness in the evening. So that in itself, I'm still taking it in like, wow.
Okay.
Because, when you think of Africa, you don't think cold.
Yeah.
You just think hot, hot, hot. So that was first things first. And just the infrastructure, it's like Nairobi. So there's this conversation that goes on, just like the Jollof conversation. It goes, if Africa were one country and there were to be a capital, I think I mentioned to you before, what would be the capital city? And before visiting Kenya, I would see a lot of comments on social media, Nigeria, Nairobi. But since visiting Nairobi, I agree. Nairobi will be the capital city. Yes, because it's in close proximity. It's a huge hub to a lot of other destinations. But it's just very progressive. The people are friendly. You could get a lot of things here. Your money goes a long way here as far as luxury wise, things you could get. The apartments are nice, the roads, the cars, just the variety of hotels and things like that. So that in itself was just amazing. We stayed at the Radisson Blu.
Okay.
That was amazing. Everything was just great with Kenya.
Yeah.
The service, even the car service that we used, they were great.
They upgraded you. Oh.
Yes, they did. Shout out to Lisa's car service. If you're in Nairobi, hit them up. Yeah, they were amazing. And then, of course, the wine experience.
Okay.
But just the entire House of Wayne, the setting, the pool. It's like you guys were just excited to show us your country. Not a lot of places you go and people are excited to show what the country has to offer. Yeah. But I felt that with working with you guys. It was like, okay, sit back. It's like the Kenyans have this cockiness with them, like, okay, let's hear what you're going to say about Nairobi, because you really don't have much to say. And I kind of see where they get that from, because, you know, the roads are great, minus the food. You guys just need seasoning and some pepper.
Okay.
It's like you skip past the seasoning cabinet.
We didn't get the memo on that day.
You didn't get the memo. You know, but just the experiences. Even I visited Limuru, even just going there somewhere that far out, there were things to do there. So if I wanted to stay the night in Limuru, I could.
You could,
and then Masai Mara, I could go there. I could stay. We stayed a couple of days there, and that was fantastic and amazing. Seeing the animals in their natural habitat, just seeing how the country really works to preserve their natural resources, the things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just amazing. You know, because other places you can't get that wildlife experience because the country is really not. They don't really care that much what goes on back there. Yeah, but it's like with Kenya, you guys care to preserve that, you know. So that was amazing. Yeah, then it was 13 of us. No one had any, other than the food, no one had anything bad to say about it. Yeah, so it was just a great experience. And everyone left just like, whoa, you know, there's really more to Africa.
To Africa than, okay.
Yeah, so I think we did our job. We did our job, yeah.
Then you chose to come to Tanzania for the beach experience.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes. So,
I don't know why an invite was not extended, but yeah,
I know. Did it go to your spam email?
I was busy doing other things. Yes,
you were all over the place. Yeah. So we chose to do the beach here. Initially, we wanted to do Lamu.
Yes.
And then we had younger kids on the trip too, so we figured. Yeah, so we came to Tanzania for the beach bar. Zanzibar is pretty popular, and it's also a very hot spot in the business.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
it's an easy sell.
Yes, easy sell. Yes, the bright blue waters, and yeah. The waters are amazing, magical, but I like Kenya better than Tanzania.
Okay, why?
Just holistically, from a holistic approach.
Okay.
Yeah, well, the weather, because we got to Tanzania and it was like, whoo, where's the fan, the humidity? So I could appreciate the balance in the weather.
Okay. But again, it depends on where you go. But yes, I've had the same experience in Dar. Arusha was cooler. Yeah. I was in Arusha over the weekend for the marathon and all that. But yeah, that was cooler. So maybe it's just timing and again, sort of locations that you need to choose more appropriately.
Yeah, but I will be back more. You know, we're going to see you more.
Of course.
But please start thinking about the most outrageous things.
I mean, this is a good place
to wow us.
I mean, this is a good place to start. I'm in Jerusalem for work, planning for the Wines of South Africa event we're having here in May. And the Wine and Cheese shop is one of the importers based here that specialize only in South African wines. And I mean, I don't know what Chef Alan will say about this collection, but you know, we are competing with his collection here as well. And thanks to the team for laying this whole out for us. And the fact that is Tanzania is very critical in the wine business in terms of the growth is, of course, it's a big country. It's much larger than Kenya, where Nairobi and Mombasa are sort of closer together and similar in many ways. Tanzania has the North Circuit with all the safari lodges, and there's Dar, which is business, and there's Zanzibar, which is very idyllic. So it's really, I guess, how we balance the trade across the place. But there's a lot of South African wine here. Yeah. And of course, there's been a lot of the connection to the South African Development Corporation sort of space because they're both in the same block. So I love doing business here. It's our second edition. Of course, I'm also learning about the hotel space. The currency drives me nuts because there's so many zeros. Yeah. But just generally, I can find the same things and similar experiences and get to experience that. I think maybe you're from Philly, you have the sea, right?
Do we have the sea in Philly?
Philadelphia, no, you don't have. No. Is it New York that has the sea? Washington has the sea. So being in a large city where the sea is, for me, then Nairobi is like the big place with no water. So when I go to Mombasa, as much as I'm doing business, sometimes I'm on holiday mode, right? Yeah, I love Mombasa. But now when you come to Dar, it's by the sea, but it's also the large city. Yeah. So
that's interesting.
It messes up with my brain because I want to treat it like Zanzibar, but it's not. So it's not. It's business. So there's that aspect about it. Yeah. But moving on, what are some of the upcoming trips you have coming forward? And what is your vision, in essence, for your business going forward as well? How can we plug in more?
Well, I've already sealed you in. When I send you that email, all I'm expecting is when, where, how. I don't want any pushback, you know, because I just loved it.
Yeah.
It's like I've been looking for you forever, you know? So connecting with you was just, it just made sense. Because you know how sometimes you're like, you know, is this really what I need to be doing? Is this going to work? Does this make sense? And then it's like you just come across certain things that just reassures you. So you were one of those reassurances. Like, you know what? I got my person.
Okay.
I got my person that I could take anywhere with me. Yeah.
Awesome.
So definitely. So we have Seychelles coming up in May. That's a private group. But we have South Africa.
Okay.
We have Senegal in November. We have Ghana in October. Ghana is like our biggest and hottest destination for other reasons. Yeah, we have Morocco, we have Egypt. So the goal is to just continue curating amazing experiences and just to wow the Africans and the Black Americans. Well, we're all Africans, I consider, in the diaspora. Just to, you know, come to the continent, come for vacation, you know, because a lot of people go to the Caribbean. And I the money you can spend going to the Caribbean, you come here, you can really be a king and queen here, you know? So yeah, so the goal is just to keep promoting the continent, promoting amazing experiences, you know, connecting with amazing people like yourself, and just celebrate and showcase Africa. So far business is good. You know, there are a lot of inquiries coming in. Yeah, so it's just a lot of reassurance that we're going in the right path.
Great.
So yeah, so I'm looking forward to the 2023 trips that we have lined up, and just so far, what I've experienced in 2023, 2024 is like, listen, Jesus is going to come down himself and give you your welcome dinner.
And he's going to give us the recipe for turning water into wine.
We're going to get it from him directly, yeah. So that's just the plan, just to wow people, just to show them that, you know, you can get anything here.
Yeah.
You know, come here, do business here, connect with people here, live here, vacation here. You know, we're the majority here, you know? So there's this feeling of just being content when you come here.
Yes.
Because it's like, you know, I'm in the majority. I'm not a minority.
True.
So that in itself is fulfilling. So that's the plan for Travel with Mac. We're just one African country at a time.
At a time, yeah. Maybe we need to speak about the challenges we've experienced, because I know, okay, first and foremost, I think you're a very trusting person. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel the same about Tanzanians. Like, I took a tuk-tuk and he had to wait for me. And he was okay with me not paying him like something small to wait. I'm like, geez. I mean, I wouldn't try that in Kenya, for example. So in a sense, you were able to pay deposits, for example, to people you've never met before, and businesses you found online, and maybe had no way of doing some due diligence. And I don't know whether this is a service the US Embassy provides and the like. But in essence, everything went well.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a dream client. If everybody booked the events 6 months before and made a deposit, and then he's not going to ask for discounts.
Yeah, because
I just need 10 of those every year.
You gotta pay for the quality.
The quality,
so I'm all
exactly.
for quality.
Yeah, but then I kept thinking, I hope nobody messes up for you. I mean, just for your sake, because things could go wrong about people who, you know, get paid in that. But then you also got into some global financial technology issues, right?
Yeah,
because
I'm a money launderer at this point.
Exactly. You were flagged for certain reasons because, of course, you have to make payments in advance, and you're making them to some obscure place in the mind of the American because perhaps it's the first time you're spending money there and all that. So what would you advise someone who wants to get into a similar business, for example?
I mean, I would say, for me, for example, I'm big on just energy and vibe.
Okay.
So that's why I always like to talk to anybody that I'm going to do business with or connect with. I like to see you face to face.
Okay.
So I'm like, let's Zoom, because then you get the connection. If I see you, you're talking to me, I can feel what's going on. So, for instance, our conversation, I was just like, oh, easy, you know, easy. But then also, Isabella had recommended you. So, and the person who recommended me to her was someone that I trust.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay.
So trust is key.
Yeah. So just seeing, connecting, that was a big thing. And I didn't get any iffy vibes to keep me on edge. So, you know, and of course, a big thing with my company is to, you know, we want to support the local Africans in the country. We're not coming here asking for discounts and expecting miracles in return. We're coming, if this is what you're charging, this is what I'm paying.
Okay.
You know? So that was first things first. So I would never, well, maybe not never, but at least not most of the time, leave with like, oh, give me a discount. No, you know, if I want luxury, then I'm going to pay for luxury. So that was it, yeah. But the technology part of it can be a little bit of a hindrance and inconvenience, because now I had to use a third party to like wire all this money back and forth. So I would just say, just to, you know, connect with people that are doing legitimate businesses.
Okay, yeah.
So for you, for instance, I could send you money several ways. And a lot of the vendors that I work with in Kenya, they had foreign accounts also.
Okay, super.
So I could physically go into a bank in the US and send them the money versus someone that's just doing business through their phone, you know? So that helped a little bit. So I would just say, you know, just connect with legit people that are doing legit businesses, because I think the problem comes in when you try to go under the table and cut all these corners. But if you're reaching out to trusting people that have been in business for a long time, you, for instance, you're not trying to get over on me. This is your business, your life, you're making money, you know, this is what you do. So that transaction is going to be easy. So I would just say find trusting people that have a name for themselves. So that way it's just easier, because people that have their brand to worry about, they're not trying to get over on you for your little couple $1,000s. It's bigger than you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would just say find the right connections, you know, and you know, pay how much you weigh.
Okay.
You want the big things, pay the big bucks.
Pay the big bucks. Definitely.
Yeah, because the problem's gonna come if you're, you know, trying to cut corners. You might think it's cool, but then in the end, they might not answer. They might be unavailable. So just find legit people that are doing legitimate businesses.
Yeah. It's funny because we're thinking the other day, you know, the coral reef that's on the East African coast, when the tide is low, it's really like open land, right? So we're saying, take a picture for someone who wants to buy land when the tide is low.
So they don't see all the other stuff.
And then when they come to see the land they bought, you tell them it's under the sea. I'm like, that's really crazy. Anyway, but really, I guess trust is really important. And I mean, you could have all the technology in the world, you could have all the connections in the world, but people have to trust you to be able to give business to you. Yeah. I mean, I've worked with Chef Alan on other projects, so it was natural for me to know he's not gonna mess up. In fact, he's gonna impress. I didn't anticipate him getting you his free stash. I mean, some of his stash. To be honest, and I think I told him this, at the end of the evening, I was like, did I really need to be here? But you know, but that's the thing. It worked because we've worked together and there's a certain expectation and, you know, level of standard required. And I mean, that's the second event I've been to House of Wine. Yeah. So thank you for that. There's more to come. This is my first time at the Wine and Cheese shop. You won't believe it. But then they were part of the exhibitors, like I said in the first one. And they were so gracious to allow me to come and, of course, to put up this spread. They have a great selection of South African wine. Yeah.
You're not just anybody.
So you haven't tasted the two wines. I want you to taste, because you have to tell me which one of the three you prefer. You can tell she's a white wine girl and I'm the red wine girl.
I am. I'm a white wine girl.
Yeah, so you're a wine lover, so we'll take your advice as we would take your advice on where to go in Africa and, you know, go on these trips. And have you had the cheeses as well? I want you to tell me which one you prefer, whether it was I think this is the hard cheese, and this is a soft cheese, and of course, I mean, really, really lovely spread. Yeah, yeah, it's good as well. So I've had a lot of, I tasted a lot, but then I want to compare this to.
This smells really good.
Okay, yeah, so we have, so you're having the what now? The Fredenlast.
Yeah.
Okay, super. And you had the Balia, and you have my pronunciation, second tour. So I'm having, this is the Nearlast Rubicon, and I'm also having the Babel from Babylon Store, and big brand names available here in Tanzania. And of course, you can get them here at Golden Tulip. So quick, just off the top of your head, which is your favorite of the three? I'll give you time.
I think the third one.
The third one. Yeah. Okay, so the Fredenlast wins on that side.
Yeah, the third. But I love all of them.
Of course, she loves all of them. Yeah, I'm just putting you on the spot to choose one. Because you can get all three bottles anyway. Why choose one, right?
Yeah, the third one for sure.
I guess I have a personal story with the Rubicon, so maybe I'm biased that way in terms of that. But then even the Babylon Store and Farm is beautiful because they have like beautiful vegetable gardens, right? So if you go, I hope you can get to go to both of them, but then I would say for a visit, Babylon Restaurant definitely.
And
but
that's
then,
for South African, right?
they're all South African wines that I sell here, but they also have Tanzanian wines here because Tanzania also has like a vibrant wine production space based out of Dodoma, which is, I think, is it 2 hours, an hour away? I'm not sure, but it's towards sort of.
Oh, I gotta come back and visit more.
You have to
I
come.
gotta spend more time. It's like everywhere I go, I'm like, damn, I need more time.
We need more time, definitely. And there's so much choice. But we're really, really happy to have you with us. And thank you for doing this and really showcasing East Africa. I was watching your videos, and I was there and I was thinking, oh my God, I want to do this again. So I'm glad
let's rewind.
Continuing the partnership. And yeah, I'm your wine plug for anywhere. I'll just have to figure out.
Don't tell anyone that. Please don't reach out to her without going through me.
No. I know I will learn a few lessons about global business when we're trying to move the wine around. That will be a new challenge that we're waiting to expect. But yeah, let's continue doing this. Thank you so much. Any parting shots? Anything you want to say that we haven't covered? In my excitement of just having you here.
So am I. No, I think I'm just taking it all in. And just going back to everything I was saying. We're sitting here in Tanzania enjoying African wine. Like, we could find anything we want on the continent.
Yeah.
So this in itself is self-explanatory. But, just thank you for just being welcoming, being open. And I'm excited for everything in the future that we're going to do together.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm just excited to be here.
Awesome. And I'll come to Philly too as well, not just in Africa.
Of
So I wore the Aquaba dress, my Ghanaian dress from Ghana.
Yes.
This was actually from one of my first visits in Ghana, I think in 2013 or something. Anyway, it still fits. I'm happy.
Yeah, it looks good.
The smoking helps a lot. So I thought, this is my connection to you and the place you love as well, while we're meeting in a place you love as well.
I love the green. The money green, the rich African vegetation green. Yeah.
And Accra can be as humid as Dar es Salaam, right?
Yeah, but Accra's vibe is a little different. So you're so distracted by the humidity because there's just so much other things going on.
We'll find out real soon.
We got to get you to Accra for the welcome dinner there too. We got to get you everywhere. My goal is to have you every month for every destination at the welcome dinner.
Thank you. Yeah. And please have my prayers at all visa application
get approved
embassies to get approved.
I'll just send a jet. Just send a private jet.
Diplomatic passport, here we come. Yeah, but thank you so much for joining us for this edition. Mccleod. It sounds like a Scottish name. It sounds like a man's name.
Actually, it's a Scottish name. It's a man's name. It means son of a warrior. So I was named after my godmother.
Okay.
She introduced my father and mother.
Oh, there you go.
So they figured, when we have a girl, we'll name her Mccleod. So, yeah. And voila. So the Scottish named Liberian by way of America. We love you and we hope all the best for Travel with Mac. Thank you.
And you'll be seeing more of us in your space.
Yes, you will.
Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Cheers.
Asante.
Asante sana. Kwaheri ya kuonana.